With Frank Ocean's recent Homer announcement, I asked myself, where has Frank been? Why was he missing, and why did his debut back entail nothing but a luxury brand, created and directed by him? Although I was not able to hop on the phone with Frank and ask him where he went, I was able to create speculation of why he went, and why his debut back didn't include another album. We have gotten ever so used to such frequent releases by popular artists, who are chasing relevance and fame. But in a world where you can rise as quickly as you can fall, it might be surprising to hear that we've always treated album releases like this. The method an artist releases their discography over their career is called an album cycle. Artist relevance through constant releases can be traced back to as early as the 60s. Notable examples are David Bowie's 14 solo album streak over 13 years, and Fleetwood Mac's 11 album streak over 9 years. In those years it did make sense, due to the heavy reliance on others throughout the production of an album, or even pressing it and shipping it to a store to achieve a first real listen. But in the present day, an artist can completely compose an album from their bedroom and release it on any streaming platform of their liking. Looking at things this way, an album cycle can rather be a burden to a creative cycle. While looking at all this is assuming that your label will put you first, which was not the case for Frank Ocean. After neglect from his label Def Jam while still being signed under them, Frank released Nostalgia Ultra by himself, with virtually zero promotion. Proving himself while being under his label pushed executives to actually put his work under the spotlight. With the ball in his court, it gave Frank the full creative control of Channel Orange. Being only recorded in 3 weeks, it proved to his label further of his talent, sealing the deal with the Grammy. After a massive hiatus like the one we endured recently, he released his third studio album, Endless, accompanied by a 140-hour stream. While Def Jam was happy to have a full feature LP, only a day later Frank released the Boys Don't Cry magazine, accompanied by his fourth studio album, Blonde, independently under his new label, Boys Don't Cry. The reason that I reiterate this commonly known story is that I believe this had a great influence on Frank's musical absence. Specifically in the Boys Don't Cry magazine, while being interviewed by the Bass God, he talked about the admiration of not being pinned down by house rules, also known as an album cycle. He further states in the conversation, that corporate American music shit, you know? I feel like the based way is a lot healthier, because it's in a flow, unencumbered. To be able to take the time and prepare a body of work is great, but overall being freeform with our output is better in the long run, I think. I'd like to be like that. Frank shows the admiration to the idea of releasing music when he wants, while he wants, something that is quite the opposite to what he endured in the signing of Def Jam from 2009 to 2016. To say that the music industry left him with a bad taste wouldn't be a stretch, especially because we can only imagine the clauses of the contracts he was in. You have to understand that the reason that your favorite artist releases like they do is likely because they're tied up, like he once was. Most of your favorite artists only put out like they do because they have to. When you look at it this way, it's not hard to see that albums are purposely catered towards us in this manner, in order to fulfill the whole of hyperconsumption culture that goes much past the consumption of music. 9 times out of 10, artists are releasing when we want the music, not when they want to put it out. This idea affects the other side of the spectrum for artists that want to put out a plethora of music, but their labels will not allow them. Like how Death Grips had to leak one of their own albums because the label would not allow them to release it until a year later. Or how Ariana Grande stated on Twitter that she doesn't want to follow a formula and wait 2 years to drop it. She wants her fans to hear it while it's fresh, which in the time being, she didn't have the option to. Your perspective on music can also change when changing how you view it as an art form. Do you really need more when such artwork has great replay value? Like the immersive Van Gogh exhibit. Van Gogh has been gone for over 130 years, yet this exhibit was the top-selling cultural event of 2020, selling over 200,000 tickets. Yet we're looking at the same piece of artwork because it's good. Well-made artwork does not get old. When creating comparisons in the playfield of music, Frank is doing greater numbers on what he has out now than the next artist putting out yearly albums at a minimum, bringing out the clause quality over quantity, a figure that's hard to wrap your head around in a hyperconsumption culture. What we can take away from this very one-off scenario from an artist is that Frank Ocean has left us with a plethora of stunning albums. ones with impeccable replay value compared to artists in his era. This hiatus can be seen as an off-season for creativity. There's more that goes on behind the scenes, and what we see happens during game time. When you try to answer the mystery, there is none. The world of creativity cannot be forced, but I do strongly believe that we'll hear more from Frank Ocean due to his recent debut back in the public. He's reached the point that he can put out the kind of music he likes whenever he'd like to. He's on his own schedule. So whatever and whenever it comes out, expect something very good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I want to hear what you think of quality over quantity when it comes to music. Also, I want to hear what your favorite Frank Ocean project is and why. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop a like down below, and until next time, guys.